backlog of products that were in the ports. And after which that they also set up a committee to probe the ports. And he was also invited to be part of that committee. And so the only role he played was to be part of that committee, and not that he was an appointee of the government. He just played a role as in that committee. So he now clarified that, unlike what Daddy Free said, he was not in charge of the port and he was not appointed by the Abacha administration. He was just part of the committee that helped to address some of the issues in the port. Then Seun Okinbaloye asked that some people have complained that while he was governor in Anambra State, that Peter Obi focused more on frugality than investment. He was focusing more on saving money than investing the money. So Peter Obi now replied that wasn't true, that he invested a lot in Anambra State, that he invested in education. He mentioned that there was no school in Anambra State that he didn't provide generator, that he didn't provide laptops, and that, a matter of fact, that Anambra State under his governorship was the highest buyer of laptops from HP, from HP and other computer companies, So he invested in education and invested in breweries, and that today the breweries he invested in they are the highest taxpayer in Anambra State. So then he also talked about the issue of subsidy, that he would have also removed subsidy, but he would have done it in a more organized manner, and that the corruption that was involved in subsidy was not addressed. So he now made a statement that President Tinubu in his 2 years has borrowed more money than Yaradua, Jonathan and Buhari combined. He said that Tinubu has borrowed up to 180 trillion naira compared to the 80 trillion that Buhari borrowed, And I think the statistics that Peter Obi gave was in naira. He did the conversion to the current exchange rate to naira, and when you now do that, you get this that he has said, because part of the response from the Tinubu administration, which includes Daniel Bwala, who gave a response today, was that it's the exchange rate. That's what that if you look at it in the dollar value, it may not be up to what Peter Obi has said. Then Peter Obi said that while he may borrowing is not wrong, that it's better to borrow for investments rather than for consumption. That he will make a policy that borrowing must never be for consumption, it must be on investment. Borrow to invest in education, in power, and also borrow to invest in security. Then he said that he would support, if he's president, he would want a strong opposition. That it will not be like what's happening today, where the presidency wants to make Nigeria a one-party state. That when he was governor in Anambra State and opposition people came to campaign, someone like Chris Ngige, that he provided vehicles for them to campaign. And so he wants a strong opposition, because if the opposition has opinions that would work, he would also take those opinions to heart. So he talked about the biggest assets Nigeria has is the uncultivated land in the north. And when he was asked about tax reform and student loans, that does he not support these policies? Should he not acknowledge that some of these policies that the Tinubu administration has brought, like the tax reform and the student loan, are good things that the Tinubu administration has done? So he said, Nigeria has never lacked good policies. What they lack is good and committed implementation. He said, no matter how good the policy is, the Nigeria lack good and committed implementation. That is the implementation that is the problem. That if the government comes and says that everybody should fast, Nigerians are good people, they will agree, okay, let's fast. But when the government says everybody should fast, then the government turns around to start feasting and start enjoying, living lavishly. But you expect people to fast. So that kind of hypocrisy also affects the ability to also carry out those policies that they've talked about. Then Peter Obi said that he's going to declare war on insecurity. He said that Nigeria is losing more people. More people are dying in Nigeria than in countries that are at war. And so one of the things he will do is to declare war on insecurity. He talked about his experience as governor and how he was able to deal with insecurity then, and one of the things he mentioned that there is natural security. Natural security is when you pull people out of poverty. That's when he went to the prisons, that if you ask people who are in the prisons, those who have committed one crime or the other, they will tell you that they did it because they didn't have because of lack of opportunity, because of lack of what to eat, and all of that. That if somebody doesn't know where the next meal will come from, the person can involve in crime, and that promotes insecurity. He was asked about state police. He said he will support community policing, local government policing, state policing, and federal policing. And he was also asked if he has expressly condemned the actions of IPOB and then the Nnamdi Kanu and what's happening in the east. And he said he has condemned killings everywhere. And he has condemned killings, and that for those who are agitating, whether they are agitating in the southwest, or agitating in the southeast or agitating in the north, that if there are people among those agitators, that if he's president, if there are people that he can talk to, that he can negotiate with, that he will negotiate with them. But that if that one doesn't work, he will go all out to deal with them. Then he said that he sees no reason why Nnamdi Kanu should continue in prison. That the government doesn't seem to have genuine reasons why they are still keeping him. So these are some of the things that he talked about. I think some of the key points that he talked about was on the issue of compassion. It's easy for him to make that argument because, today I listened to the response that Daniel Bwala gave. And Daniel Bwala was saying that whether Peter Obi has he gone to some of those places. I think Daniel Bwala is not really well informed. At least for Mokwa, Peter Obi has gone to Niger State, when there was flooding in Mokwa. He has gone there, and Peter Obi has gone to when there were killings in Plateau. He went there, he went to Plateau State. And when there were killings in Benue State, he was going there. It's just that the governor of the state now said that he cannot guarantee the security of Peter Obi. They were already on their way to Benue State when they heard the announcement they got messages and they heard the announcement from the governor's office that they cannot provide security for him. That is why Peter Obi could not go to Benue State. You understand? And I'm sure that is why he has not. That was before Yelewata. When he wanted to go to Benue State, it was before Yelewata. And subsequently with the Yelwata killings, I'm sure if the governor of Benue State, Father Alia, has allowed him, he would have gone. So Peter Obi has been going to those places, and that is why he can make the argument that the government lacks compassion. So Daniel Bwala trying to make the case that if opposition are complaining that President Tinubu is not going to those areas of conflict, but why are those opposition people not going to those places too? I think that is not. Peter Obi himself can make this argument of lack of compassion because he has been going to those places and he has been providing donations and other things, So that issue of compassion was very strong points that he made. Then another issue is the issue of the coalition. He made it clear that he has not left the Labour Party, that they are working in the coalition, but is still a member of the Labour Party. So, as to the issue of whether he's going to be VP, whether his article is going to emerge, and all those kind of things, he said that it's still early days, that people should not assume things, and all of that. So, I think from what he said, they are still trying to work things out. People are freaking out because of what Atiku said. Atiku is still indicating interest to run for president, so people are really freaking out. But Peter Obi has said that people should calm down, people should not assume things. So they are still in the early stage. They have agreed to work as a coalition, but for now it's still in the Labour Party. It was an interesting interview and he was able to address a number of issues, and we'll see how things goes in the days to come.